Hey, what's going on, guys? Here at Galaxy with a deck profile while the tournament's going on, so it's actually quiet in here for once.
I'll try to keep my fat fingers out of the way.
So today we're profiling the Darkest Diabolos Lair of Darkness deck. This one's more of a pure version. Doesn't involve any Infernoids, any like Vanicridius stuff, no Dark Worlds, no Dark Lords, anything like that. It's just, you know, $30 structure decks plus some other just generic dark support and virus stuff. So
it's like Monarchs. Buy 3, put them together, and go.
For the most part, yeah. I mean, the deck's a lot of fun. I really like the artwork on the deck. I like the style of the deck. Unfortunately, the deck is pretty prone to bricking, similar to like Monarchs, but overall it's a lot of fun. And it has its good matchups against a lot of the meta. Like if you can resolve a full force virus or a torrential or eradicator against most decks other than like Lair Darkness decks themselves, it can be a blowout. Yeah, so we're going to get started with a deck here.
Speaking of GG, he reps the shirt.
Of course I do. So monster lineup, we play 3 of the boss monsters, 3 Darkest Diabolos, Lord of the Lair. Not just Diabolos, the Darkest Diabolos. So, when he's on the field, he cannot be tributed and cannot be targeted by card effects. So he's pretty hard for a lot of decks to get over, being 3,000 attack and just untargetable and unkaijuable.
He can't get kaijued.
Right. And then his main effect is that once per turn, if a dark monster you control gets tributed for any kind of effect, you can special summon him from the hand or grave. That effect does activate and start a chain, so you keep that in mind. And then you can also tribute 1 dark monster, and then your opponent places 1 card from their hand on either the top or bottom of the deck. So that's really good if you're able to get this out going first to just basically reduce your opponent's hand by 1. So that means they're more prone to bricking. So that's kind of good.
Question here. How do you think this will do, mainly the second effect of putting a card back, how do you think this will do against Pendulum Magicians?
I mean, against any combo-oriented deck, if you hit the right card, it can be pretty devastating. It just depends on whether you put it on top or bottom as well, because you could put like something really bad on the bottom and then they draw like a god card off the top. So, I mean, it really just depends, but in general, I mean, if you can tribute to get like some of your good effects off and then be able to just rip a card out of your opponent's hand, I mean, that's pretty good.
Erebus all over again.
Yeah. Next we have the Free Lilith. If you normal summon her, her attack is halved, so she's normally 2,000, but if you normal summon her, she's 1,000. And then with her effect, you contribute 1 dark monster, including yourself. That's cost. Then you reveal 3 normal trap cards from your deck, and then your opponent randomly picks 1 to set to your side of the field, and the rest get put back into the deck in the order. So this can potentially tutor out your viruses, can tutor out back to the front, can tutor out torrential tribute, any really good normal trap, mind crush, technically evenly matched as well. But that's not as good since it doesn't go to your hand, it sets. But the nice thing about that too is that it avoids Ash Blossom, because Ash Blossom stops cards from being added to hand, not being set directly from deck. So
it's Guiding Ariadne, but better.
Yeah, Lilith's pretty good. It's one of those, one of your main starter cards. It's also a card that can help set up your Diabolos as well. Next we have the free, how's he pronounced?
That is
Arima?
Arima.
Yeah, free Arima. You discard this to add your Lair of Darkness if you don't already have it. Then its effect on field is that you contribute 1 dark monster to draw 1 card. Or if you tribute a dark monster other than himself, you can add a dark monster whose defense is 2,000 or more from your deck to your hand. So
Diabolos.
Diabolos, yes, very much Diabolos. So yeah.
Muy bueno, Diablo.
Yeah, 3 of him is really good, not only for having 3 more copies of the Lair of Darkness, which is like the heart and soul of this deck, but also for potentially searching Diabolos, which is another heart and soul of the deck. So very important.
And he gets the field spell, right?
Yes,
Terraforming
Lair
on
of
legs.
Darkness, that's what I just said.
Terraforming on legs.
The other new monster from the structure deck that I play is 1 Duke Shade. If you have Lair of Darkness set up, this thing can be a Kaiju / Raw Spear mode on crack. So basically you contribute any number of dark monsters, doesn't matter whose side of the field, special summon this card, and then it gains 500 for each monster tributed. So Lair of Darkness makes all monsters on the field dark, which means if that's on the field, you contribute all your opponent's monsters, summon this, and then it gains 500 for each one tributed. So this thing can tribute all your opponent's stuff and become really big at the same time. So that's pretty good.
Now I have to pause you here real quick.
Yeah.
Konami. Look what you did.
Yeah. So I only play 1 because it does require a specific setup to really be like a good kaiju card, and I wanted to stack the main deck to be more focused on being consistent going first or second, so I didn't really want to brick with multiple of these, but yeah, definitely you should at least play one because the card's really good. Can potentially be searched out as well, so that's always nice. Next, 2 Armageddon Knight, and then the 1 Destrudo. It's a nice little package for this deck. Obviously, Armageddon Knight can send any other dark monster as well, but typically you're saying Destrudo. Destrudo, of course, can summon itself, makes them your level 7s, and your level 7s can actually have some synergy with the deck, like Ancient Fairy Dragon and
Black Rose or whatever else.
Dark Strike Fighter as well has some nice synergy with Diabolos. So
you don't happen to have an extra Destrudo, do you?
I do not.
Damn.
But yeah, this engine overall is pretty good. By Brian Bernardi's recommendations, we're trying out the 2 Jurighetto. This one's kind of neat because it's just a free monster to summon on field during the battle step. You gain 1,000 life points when you do that, and then you can also tribute it during your player's turn to give one of your monsters an extra 1,000 attack. So that can turn your Diabolos into a 4,000 beater.
More like Jurighetto.
Yeah, and he's 1,700 on his own, so that can help with getting a big beater on, gain extra damage on board to potentially go for game, and also does tribute. It has a tribute effect, so that can also set up your Diabolos and other things as well. So yeah, 2 Jurighetto. Then for the last monsters, we have the 1 Tour Guide, 1 Skarn to summon off a Tour Guide, which then can search your Lilith at end phase. And then finally the 1 Blackwing Steam.
Now why this one?
So this is kind of interesting. This is a number card you potentially can send off your Armageddon Knight, send off of Foolish Burial. So basically, if it's in the graveyard, you can tribute a monster you control to special summon itself. Again, tributing is another thing that can trigger off your Diabolos. And then if this card leaves the field, it gives you a token. So this basically, 1 monster counts. Gives you 2 monsters that can help you go into some of your bigger link plays. And it's a dark monster that tributes something, so it kind of works out pretty well. Granted, you're not really going to use it to synchro summon, but if you can use it to tribute for other effects or use it to link summon other things, it definitely gives you your value at 1 for sure.
And just a quick thing to mention here, with the dark deck and all the greedy dark monsters that are here, represent the Shadow Lugia, the god of dark Pokemon.
Very much so. So spell cards, free Lair Darkness, very standard, very broken.
Very great.
All monsters become dark. If you would tribute a monster for one of your dark monsters effects, you can tribute your opponent's monster instead, as long as it meets a requirement, i.e. being dark or meeting the requirements for, say, a virus, which is pretty busted. And then the way its token summoning works, during the end phase of that player's turn, that turn player gets tokens on their side of the field, which are level 3, 1,000 attack, 1,000 defense, Fiend Tights, up to equal to the number of monsters tributed that turn. So it doesn't matter if it's tributed from your side or your opponent's side. If there's, like, say, 2 monsters tributed in total that turn player gets 2 tokens.
And that's not an optional thing.
That's
right?
a mandatory. Yeah. So this can be very helpful for you if you know how to play it right, to give you some extra monsters to protect yourself. If they stay on board, they can potentially help you leverage the link plays.
I was just going to ask you about that. Can they be used as link material?
They can. They very much can. So very solid card in general. I mean, the fact that you can use your opponent's monsters to tribute for your effects, tribute for your viruses, is just too good.
Oh, great. They gave us Scapegoat again.
Yeah. And then since we're playing the Destrudo, we are playing the 1 Dragon Ravine along with the 2 Terraforming. So we essentially have 8 copies of Lair Darkness with the free of the monster that searches this out. And then we have 3 copies of Dragon Ravine if we want to set up our Destrudo plays. So overall, you're never really going to be without a field spell most of the time. Next, since we're playing a total of 18 dark monsters, we are trying out the free Allure in the main. Card I'm kind of iffy on because you don't really want to banish anything, but you have so much fuel for this card, and this deck doesn't really have any other draw/consistency cards it can play, so I figured at least try it. I haven't really played it long enough to really say whether it's good or bad, but I mean, in theory, it's really good. So,
would you consider something like Duality over that, just to get the monsters to your hand?
No, you special summon too much with this deck. For 1 Foolish Burial, can dump whatever you want. 1 Monster Gate, tribute whatever you want. Again, if you have Lair of Darkness, you can tribute your opponent's monster to then get the summon something for free out of your deck, when you excavate and stuff. And then the 1 Monster Reborn, just generally a really good card.
Yep.
For traps, for viruses, we're playing the free full force and the one eradicator. I don't really like any of the other viruses, even the new one, because that unfortunately gives your opponent the option to send from deck, so they don't really lose anything out of that. But eradicator is just really busted. There's a reason why it's at 1 in the TCG, and full force against most matchups can also be a blowout as well, and it's really easy to trigger with your Diabolos and potentially with your with your Diabolos mostly. But yeah, just these viruses are really good.
Gee, I wonder why Eradicator went to 1. Damn Dark Worlds.
Free back to the front. This is another card you can tutor off of Lilith. It's really good because it helps you recur back your engine cards, your Lilith, your guy that searches the field spell, and then that could potentially help you keep recurring your Diabolos as well. Or you can even just hard bring back Diabolos with this as well, so that's pretty good. And finally, the free Torrential Tribute. It's at 3. It's a normal trap card. Again, if you play it right, it can be a blowout, so I figured why not play it in here.
Board wipes are good.
Yeah, board wipes are good. So that is the 40-card main deck.
Would you change anything so far from what you've seen?
Not the current moment. I have to do some more testing with it. I mean, potentially the allures could be taken out for something like Called by the Grave in the main, maybe.
It's a good card.
Yeah. Like I said, that definitely needs some more testing with this, but this is very much the beta build so far, off of things I've seen and just talking with a few people that play the deck. So for the extra, we have the 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon, 1 Black Rose, 1 Black Rose Moonlight, and the 1 Dark Strike Fighter for your level 7s. So Ancient Fairy and Black Rose are pretty obvious. Nuke boards, get rid of field spells, search another field spell, gain 1,000 life. Summon a monster, level 4 lower from your hand for free as well.
It's great.
Moonlight's pretty good for getting rid of special summon monsters. And then
AKA Diabolos.
Yeah, Dark Strike Fighter. This can tribute any one of your monsters to not only do a little bit of burn damage, but also trigger your Diabolos as well. So this is actually pretty important for that when you need to get your Diabolos off.
What's Diablo, or what's a fighter? A 7, right?
Yeah, they're all 7s. For Xyz, for rank 3s, we are playing the 1 Break Sword and the 1 Super Quanto Grand Pulse. Lilith is a level 3 Tour Guide, Scarm. The Blackwing Guy's level 3, so you potentially can make these sometimes. And they're good for just outing stuff. For rank 4s, the 1 Baguska and 1 Tornado Dragon. You have a decent amount of rank 4s. It's not something I think would come up that often, but I just like to have the option just in case. Of course, Baguska is a good card. Tornado Dragon, because they don't really have much that deals with back row other than Eradicator, so figured it's a nice option to have. For Lynx, 2 Lynx Spider, helps you get rid of your tokens. 1 Master King Archfiend, because most of your stuff are fiends. Just a Link 2, 2,000 attack, big beater, decent card. Obviously, when we get the Burning Abyss Link and when we get the Dark Link, I think this will get replaced with either of those. Because Burning Abyss guys is a Link 2 that could be 2,500, and then the Dark guys like 19 and boost all your guys by 500. So that's really good. One? The Witch's Apprentice.
Oh, Link. That thing, the spellcaster looking.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
For other links, the 1 Proxy Dragon helps you bridge into things like Borreload and Skull Dread. 1 Underclock Taker, never good link 2. Deco Talker, good link 3. And the 1 Borreload Dragon. If I own the Skull Dread, I obviously would be playing a Skull Dread because you can easily, when your engine's going, get 4 different monsters on board to make a Skull Dread. And the advantage you gain off of that can really help you win the game sometimes. So, yeah. But that's the extra deck. For the side, again, very much just a makeshift side that I put together today. Kind of down to your own personal preference.
Last minute thing.
Yeah. So 2 Artifact Lancia, decent for the mirror, really good against Invoked, good against ABCs, just anything that needs banished. Really good against that sneaky Gem Knight FTK deck that certain someone plays and Rex logos with. I don't know who that is, but
I wonder.
I hear everyone hates him. The 2 Ash Blossom, just a good hand trap against most everything in general. Just didn't really have room for it in the main. You definitely can if you want to, or main something like Effect Failure or Ghost Ogre if you don't have these, but yeah, Ash Blossom is good. 2 Dark Kaiju, in case you're going second and need to tribute over something, and this is a Dark for a Lord of Darkness as well, so just preferred
with
choice.
The deck.
Yep. 2 Called by the Grave, just generally a really good card. There are certain hand traps that in some situations can hurt you as well, so this can help protect you against that. But yeah, just a good card. As I said, would consider maining it if I do end up getting rid of the Allure of Darknesses. 2 Twin Twisters, just to have something to out back row. That was the biggest thing I was struggling with getting the side deck together, was finding something to actually deal with back row. because the main deck doesn't really have much to do with that. It deals with just monsters for the most part. So yeah, 2 Twin Twister. You can discard like things like Skarm, your Destrudo, your Diabolos, and not really miss it that much because they work nicely in the graveyard.
And it's not like you can't get Diabolos back.
Exactly. 1 Dark 1/1 Regeki, again for going second. And then finally the 3-dimensional barrier. It's kind of neat in this deck with Lilith how you actually have 6 copies of this if you happen to go first against a deck like ABC, Pendulum Editions, Invoked, and yeah, it's just almost an auto win or an auto end their turn when you resolve this card. So
It's just really good.
yeah, really good card. So that's it for my deck profile. Big thank you to Jake from State Farm for recording behind the camera. Remember, guys, to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.